Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday, happy Thursday. I want to thank you for attending this week's installment of When Life Needs a Detox. My name is Carol White. I am an author, a publisher, and the owner of MHB Publishing LLC. Well, everyone, today is June 20th. It is 54 degrees. Yes, I said it. 54 degrees and raining. But we are here and we are going to have a fabulous day and we're going to have a fabulous time. Good morning, Corwin. How are you today? It's always good to see you. Well, you know what? I got started a little late, but a few housekeeping things. Number one, thank you all so much for your patience and understanding over the last couple of weeks with me dealing with family trauma and family issues. It meant the world to me. Thank you so much. Miss Trinette, hello. I am so glad to see you as well. We are still working on the book signing event. I need to nail down, first of all, the venue. And we're just going to make sure that we, number one, have parking. We have enough handicap parking for those that are going to need it. And that wherever we are, we feel safe, we feel secure, and we have a great time. I want nothing less for you. All right. My worth being, hello, hello. I am so glad to see you as well. I have three of my favorite people that showed up this morning. Life is good. Life is so good. All right, and since I have three of my favorites, I'm going to rock it out with three of my favorites. This morning's topic for When Life Needs a Detox is Epiphanies at a Funeral. Now, let me start by saying once again, thank you for all of your condolences and prayers during this traumatic time for my family. They were very much appreciated. And I really don't think I could have gone through this with my sanity intact without them. You see, also during this time, my father was in the hospital as well. He didn't want any undue light shown on his condition, so I remained silent concerning his condition. And y'all know that ain't easy for me, because when I need help, I'm asking for it. But I respected his wishes and kept my mouth shut. Now he's fine and he's back at home, and I thank God for favor. But the combination of these events, not to mention the funeral of my cousin Irvin, who we call Frankie, it took a major toll on my spirit, and it drained me emotionally and physically, and I needed a break. Now, while I was decompressing from all that had occurred over the last couple of weeks, I remembered to thank God for my 55 years of life in reasonable health, and for the most part, in my sane and righteous mind. I thanked him for all the good and the bad in my life, and promised myself to make everything in my life a teachable moment. Upon saying this, I thought back to my cousin Frankie's funeral, and I realized that I'd had some epiphanies from that day. And I want to share these with you right now. Number one, there is no such thing as a wasted life. Now, while we may not see or recognize the worth in others, it doesn't mean that they wasted their lives. There were those in my family that saw Frankie as a failure, and he wasn't. Frankie had a total of 6 children that loved him very much and have felt the impact of his loss. The family in general spoke of missing his smile, his jokes, and his laughter. He motivated his kids to excel in whatever they set their minds to do by simply saying, "You can do it. He had even gone back to school himself and was 2 semesters away from graduating when his murder occurred. No, no, there is no such thing as a wasted life. Number 2, a dream deferred is not a dream destroyed. Now, back in the day, my cousin Frankie was not overly interested in school per se, but he was intelligent and he knew the value of education. When his oldest daughter had to drop out of school to have her baby, he told her, "Your dream is not finished. It's just deferred. If you want your degree, you can still get it. You can do it." He believed this statement so much that he went after his deferred dream of going to and finishing college. No, no, no such thing as a destroyed dream. Number 3, live your life without regret. My cousin Frankie believed in living life the way he chose to live his life. A lifelong friend of his said at his funeral that Frankie's favorite statement when his friends would complain of not having enough sleep to continue partying was, "Man, please, you'll get all the sleep you need when you're dead." He wanted to be happy, and he wanted everyone around him to be the same. To that end, he lived without regret. He was a jokester and a master cook who took pleasure in the happiness of others. Number 4, live with what you accept. Now, there was some tension concerning my cousin's funeral arrangements. It seems that he never divorced his wife, Lakita, so now she became the primary contact for all decisions in the funeral arrangements. Now, this left Toya, my cousin's living girlfriend for 17 years, in an impotent position during this time. It also meant she wasn't entitled to insurance, benefits, none of it. And I felt badly for Toya. But the one recurring statement that kept running through my mind was, "It is what it is." You know, sometimes if you love somebody, even if you love somebody, you have got to make sure that you think of yourself and you protect yourself against the inevitable and the unavoidable. And if you don't, you got to live with what comes after. So make sure you can live with what you accept. Number 5, love your family for who and what they are, and let the rest go. I stated earlier that my cousin was a jokester who lived his life with no regret. Now, that being said, Frankie enjoyed drinking his dog liquor and smoking his weed. But now he did have moments of unique clarity. I remember going to the hospital one time to see his mother, and we got into a discussion about my dating Carl, my husband. I'll never forget his clarity and his protective nature when he said to me, "All right, now look, cuz, I know you the police and all that, and you ain't never gonna let nobody do you wrong. But there are some things that you may not understand because you don't date much and you don't have no whole lot of men around you. So let me break it down to you. As a man gets older, he starts to think differently about women and their place in his life. Home and family become a lot more important. Some truths become really, really clear for us. We start looking at things differently. Now see, a young girl that gives good sex, she's good for 2-3 weeks tops. And then we got to let that go. But if this man finds himself a woman who's got her life together and she can cook He will put up drywall in her house for the next month just to get that next meal. Now all I'm trying to say to you is that you better be sure you want this mofo before you start to feed him. Because with the way you cook, you'll never get rid of it. I'm happy to say that when Frankie met Carl, he did approve. And he told me I can go on and cook for him. That part been taken care of anyway. It's okay. Number 6, a kind word warms the heart. Now, during the wake, I went to go speak to Frankie's wife, Lakita. Now, as I said before, there were some tensions surrounding the funeral arrangements. And I happened to notice that Lakita distanced herself from the family. I didn't know if that was requested or if it was by choice. But there was a division. So I went to go and speak to Lakita. I reintroduced myself to her, and we spoke for maybe 10-15 minutes. Now, she was called away to speak to someone else, but before she left me, she gave me a hug and she said, "Thank you for coming over to talk to me. I really appreciate this." I held her for a little longer and I told her that she's Frankie's wife. Plain and simple. She's the mother of his 3 children. She's family. There's no way for me to accept and love his 3 children without acknowledging and respecting their mother. Don't happen that way. It made her feel a whole lot better. Canned words can do so much. Number 7. Grief makes shortcomings apparent. Let me explain. Hey, Don. I'm glad to see you this morning. When I grieve, I cry and eat a lot. I blew my healthy eating lifestyle right on out the water. I made it a point to find comfort in food. It's my go-to for extreme stress. While at the funeral, I saw other people's go-tos manifest as well. There's the alcohol consumption, recreational drug use, and shade throwing for days. We all have that safe place to go to. What we cannot allow is that safe place to overtake our common sense and good judgment. Complete abandonment causes more problems than it solves. Now, number 8, and I just had to remember this one this morning. Many of our life lessons are learned in reverse. Yes, they are. Our parents do their level best to give us what they've got based on what they have. They don't always get it right. And they're not always right. So there are some things that we see them do that we decide we're not going to do. So they've taught us our necessary life lessons. They just do it in reverse. If you see something you don't like and you do the opposite, you're learning it in reverse. But the lesson is being taught. Never think that your lessons have not been taught. Number 9. This is the most important epiphany. Life is neither perfect nor easy, but it sure as hell beats the alternative. Life is going to throw you curves. Life is going to send you spinning in what it seems like an out-of-control mess. But the one thing you have to remember about life, as long as you are living, you get the chance to do it over. You get the chance to do it right. The bottom line is you have a chance to simply do it. That's what life is. Living your life to get it right, to get it done, and to make yourself happy. If you can look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and say, I have done my best, and I have left this world a little bit better than when I found it, you've had a good day. Now, these are the epiphanies that I had during my cousin Frankie's funeral. I hope you take them to heart and you learn from them. I love you, Frankie, and I am truly going to miss you. Well, that's it for today, everybody. The epiphanies at a funeral. And I did this simply because I had to remind myself that funerals are not always the maudlin, depressing, oh my God, it's over, it's over. It's never over. If we are here, we get do-overs. We do. As long as we are living, we get do-overs. So we get the chance to do them right. And I have taken up enough of your time this morning. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to what I have to say. We will be back next week on time and on schedule, Thursday, 8 a.m. But until then, I want to tell you goodbye. I love you to the moon and back. And I want you to do everything you can to live your best life. I am going to see you real soon. Love you to life again. Bye-bye now.